Hello, welcome back, and thank you for joining me. As always, thank you for your commitment and dedication to your spiritual practice. So, confession, I'm often tempted to end the broadcast with that alone and allow the import of that to sink in, the gravity of that and the sheer import of that. Your commitment and dedication to your practice. Far and away, the highest offering you can make anyone, anywhere, anytime. So rather than end the conversation, let's jump into a very interesting topic for discussion. And this is the balance between being and doing, or the juxtaposition of being and doing, however you want to view it. Let's talk about that today. And this is a topic that has been suggested by you. So thank you for suggesting this. This is a great conversation to have in light of A Course in Miracles, because to find a balance between being and doing is very, very important in life, isn't it? But what exactly do we mean by this? Well, we're very busy. That's an understatement, is it not? We're very, very busy and we constantly preoccupy ourselves in life with all kinds of things. We pick up our cell phone and instantly we're mesmerized. We're carried away in the stream of nothingness, and we're instantly preoccupied for quite a long time sometimes as we sit and scroll and judge people's posts. Good, bad, ugly, horrendous, beautiful, cute, whatever. And we sit there and we occupy our minds. Then we've got bills, a stack of bills to pay, perhaps. We've got a meal to prepare, maybe a walk to take, a job to go to, taking a nap or a 5 minute break to go get a glass of water. Whatever it is, we're always doing something and we're conditioned to do. And we typically don't think anything of it. Our entire economic systems, depending on where you live in the world, it may look slightly differently, but the idea is exactly the same. So no matter where you find yourself, if we don't do anything, then we don't have this idea called money. And then we can't keep the internet on, which is a bummer. We can't keep the lights on, etc., etc. So our entire lives here in the world are predicated on doing and action. So this is where we happen to find ourselves, apparently. So being simply is. We're very fond of saying here on this video series, God is. Being. God simply is. God is beyond all of our concepts. In other words, love is beyond all of our concepts. It is beyond language, for sure. It is beyond all of our divisions and subdivisions and categorizations and subcategorizations here in the world. It's beyond all of that. So, where we find ourselves here on the spiritual path is in a very, very interesting place. We have heard what is often referred to here as the call of the Holy Spirit, of Jesus, of our inner teacher, whatever you may call this teacher. And in fact, yes, you may call this teacher by more than one name if you wish, and refer to it as your guides. However, this call has appeared to you, you have heard it and you have answered it. You are on what we call the spiritual path. You have formulated the wish for peace. You have, whether consciously or subconsciously, told yourself that you want the peace of God. This is what we all want. And we can certainly spend years, decades avoiding this. Here's something that we're told here in A Course in Miracles that's germane. It's very important. The call goes out to all of us, each and every one of us, all of the time. Few answer, which happens to explain why a lot of people think you're nuts for paying attention to this video and this wild talking head from Arizona, apparently. This is why people think that people that spend time on spirituality are wasting their time, that we're crazy, that we're esoteric, that we're woo woo or far out or smoking something. And often people say we're smoking something while they themselves are smoking something, often while they're criticizing us. So you have heard the call, and what's important is you have answered it. We all want the peace of God, whether we choose to accept that or not. So, where do being and doing actually balance out and converge? Being simply is. It simply is. And it doesn't need all of our frantic activity to be just as it is. God, love, truth, reality, who and what we are, yes, that, does not need any of our worldly activity to be just as it is. It is and continues unabated eternally despite our mad wanderings. It doesn't even recognize these mad wanderings. This is our dream here. And if you want to call it delusion, do that too. Because we don't see things as they are. This course is about helping us to see them as they really, truly are. And the peace of God has not gone anywhere. Even though we appear not to have it, that is a mere appearance. In fact, we do. So we're invited and instructed here as we practice and study A Course in Miracles to allow truth to be just as it is. I say this a lot. It's very important. Allow truth to be just as it is. So, what do we mean by this and what do we do? Well, because allowing truth to be just as it is something that we do in our mind. It's something that we say to ourselves. And you could very well say, I allow truth to be just as it is. You could pray. You could ask your inner teacher for help in allowing truth to be just as it is. This is doing, it's powerful. It doesn't mean we have to make anything with our hands or fashion anything else with our mind, just that we allow truth to be just as it is. What is this? It's getting out of our own way. It's accepting the guidance of the Holy Spirit. It's accepting help. It's our acknowledging that of ourselves we can do nothing. You've heard that before. When we try to run the show all by ourselves, we end up, well, sometimes succeeding, but it's a wild roller coaster ride of ups and downs, and it is not the peace of God. Anything that's impermanent or changes or transforms in any way is not of God and therefore illusion. So we allow truth to be just as it is, to permeate our mind. This is doing, powerful doing. So you might rightly ask, what do I do? Well, start with that. Another thing you could do, and it would be very powerful and very kind of you to do this right now, today, is to give actively in your mind, give your entire experience over to your inner teacher who will reinterpret everything for you. This too is actively setting aside your ego. It is, it's setting it aside, saying, run the show. Then what you can do is tell yourself and tell the Holy Spirit, same part of your mind, mm, that you relax and trust his guidance. Do that. What else can you do? Prayer is always answered. What's answered, incidentally, is the prayer of the heart. Not necessarily a prayer for stuff, because I mean, you may have prayed for stuff. You may have prayed for a brand new cell phone for Christmas and not been given a cell phone for Christmas. And you may think, well, prayer doesn't work. Well, it's the prayer of the heart that's answered. So, what exactly, if you pray for stuff, that's not exactly the point. So, that's something that you can do. Forgive. That is especially something you can do. Forgive the Son of God. Forgive yourself for dreaming it. Forgive all of the images that present themselves in the world. Forgive the world. Space, yes, in illusion. Forgive it. The ego, illusion. Forgive time, illusion. Forgive bodies. Your brother, forgive. Your brother is not a body, and neither are you. Forgive this. Hmm? Forgive everything that is not wholly joyous. Being, true being, is wholly joyous. It's the peace of God. Anything that is not wholly joyous is an opportunity for forgiveness. So we do that on the path. We extend love on the path in other ways too, as directed by our inner teacher. We smile at people, we extend love. You will be told what to do in every situation should you choose to relax and trust and accept your inner teacher's guidance. So this could look wildly varied depending on the situations that you encounter in life. But you do know what the distinction is between extending love and maintaining the separation. Love simply is. And there is no separation of any kind. So we're invited to actively choose. People think that spirituality is not active. Yeah, it's as active as you could ever be. When you change your mind, that is as active, as proactive as you could ever be. What happens when you change your mind? You have a completely different experience. Things that once bothered you tremendously are nothing. They don't bother you. The equanimity, the peace of mind that begins to dawn is a tremendous gift. It's said here in A Course in Miracles, a tranquil mind is not a little gift. So your practicing this course may or may not earn you additional cash. It's not the point. It may or it may not get you a nice, tasty dinner or a new car or some fine and fancy new clothing. Again, not the point. A tranquil mind is huge. It is beyond measure. It's invaluable because with this tranquil mind, you will be able to better hear the voice for God, the Holy Spirit, your inner teacher, our inner teacher, with a tranquil mind. So, what can you do? Well, a lot. We just went through a list of practical things that you can do today, right now, any place, anytime, because right now, the present moment is all you've got. We would readily accept that the past is gone. Of course it is. The future's not here. Of course it's not. It's not here. The present moment's all we have. So we're invited to use it accordingly, to choose the guidance of the Holy Spirit instead of the ego and separation and more of the same and suffering, which you don't want, or you would not be watching this because, as it's patently obvious, but there's a lot of other content out there on YouTube, much less other social media channels. And here you are paying attention to this course in particular, amidst all of the other spiritual traditions that exist in the world. And there are many, many of those. So, whether you're a lifelong practitioner of A Course in Miracles, or whether you're brand new, or whether you are simply checking this out, there is a lot that you can do. We actively allow truth to be just as it is and accept our being, capital B, just as it is. We get out of our own way of experiencing our self, capital S. And you know who that is one with. All right. So thank you for suggesting this particular topic. And again, I am more than willing to address particular topics of discussion, particular questions here on this series of videos, which is now 3 years old, actually. This video series began in 2021. So thank you to all of you who have tuned in. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so. Feel welcome to do that. The subscription prompt's here in the corner of your screen. So when you click that arrow, when you hover over that arrow, you'll be invited to join us. Please do so. It's a growing international community. And questions, as always, are more than welcome. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'll talk to you all very soon.